Hi, I'm Jamie Pherous. I'm the founder and managing director of Corporate Travel Management. I look forward to seeing you all at the next November CAPA event, where I can share some insights on travel and a bit of my views about how things are going in the future. I look forward to seeing you all. Yeah, just a bit about CTM, an overview and the history of CTM. I started the company from scratch, and I guess I was a traveller working for a very large global company. So I saw a lot of insights about what I didn't like about how travel worked. So essentially I left a great paying company to set out on my own with a view to do things very differently in how I saw it. At the time, all the big global companies had to use, typically the value proposition was a call centre with technology that didn't necessarily add value, and there was no accountability or ROI. So they're always talking about the cheapest fee, but no one was really talking about, you know, what are you doing with the cost of travel? So how are you going to get travel, say, from 5 million down to 4 million? So essentially I left a great paying job and took a big risk and started out on my own, and with that I was just relentless about it. I really believed that was an opportunity and a gap in the market, and the rest was history really. Key milestones and achievements for the company, there's a number of them. I think the first big step was going offshore, and like everything we do in this business, we trial and innovate, and we wanted to make sure that we could be the point of difference to the global companies and the other options on a national scale. But the big step was going offshore. So that was the first milestone, because obviously going offshore takes a lot of different skill set. There's different, cultural values and nuances that you have to take account for. And that was a good learning, because that set us up very well today. The second one was expanding globally. That's a big thing. To make acquisitions and use them as your anchor point and then grow from is a whole other skill set that we've brought into the business. And I think thirdly was the IPO when we listed the company. I mean, we listed at $1, and the great story there is a lot of staff have changed their lives because of it, and that's really exciting for all of our staff, and the journey continues. What sets us apart from our competitors? I think it's our relentless focus on our value proposition. So as far as we're concerned, you need a good blend of service, technology that actually adds value, whether that's to the traveller through a mobile application or the travel company, and it's got to be underpinned by return on investment. And by that I mean the savings we make outweigh the fees we charge. It's got to be accountable and measurable. So I think the art is to have all three together, because at the end of the day, technology is great, and sometimes it's a better service than what a person can do. But the idea of it is really to enable really great service for the complicated things. I don't think many people get that right, and the technology's got to actually work, not just be bells and whistles when the rubber hits the road. It's actually got to work. So I think underpinning those three together is the art, because every client weights one of those three more than the other, and because clients are different, quite frankly. We really believe in our feedback loop, so we encourage our people not to watch the competition. Don't follow the herd, really, do it yourself. So they're the feedback loop. So it's not just customers, it's customers. We're lucky we have very good global data. And then sense checking, you use common sense then to take all the feedback loops and the data to say, is that still right or wrong? So we've seen times where we've seen the market go down a road where we already know that it's probably the wrong thing to do. Either it's timing or it's a fad, and it's not really a deep trend. So I think that's the art, and it's something we've done very well, because we continue to bring out world first, not just in our local market, but what's exciting, we're doing in other markets that we've never, that we've only really been a new entrant in. So that's the exciting part. I think the key one really is technology enabling better service. So for example, I go back 5 years ago when we started this whole process, and when we looked at internally, 30% of the calls we were getting were actually things that were adding no value to a customer. Things like, I've lost my invoice, what time's my flight again, can I have my itinerary, and I'm running late, what's the next flight? Now an app serves a lot better for that, right? So then what that's doing is freeing up time for the real complicated things like the travel warrior, where you need really great service and expertise, because the computer doesn't give you the right answer, right? Or getting someone stuck when they're overseas, or those sort of things. So I think that's been really successful for us. I really believe that the moat you've got to create is good technology, but it's got to be underpinned by good expert service, because travel is still highly emotive and highly complicated, and most people don't see that until you're a traveller getting stuck and you miss a flight or those sort of things happen. And I think when you can get that personalised and you can afford to do that, when you've got very, very good technology, then you really, I guess, you individualise it for the traveller within a company. When you can do that and use technology, you've got a very, very strong value proposition, because someone gets a technology that adds value with highly personalised service. And that's the challenge, that usually big companies can't do, and I think we're doing that very, very well. Yeah, just talking about the company's growth, I mean, firstly, Australia's our fortress, and it's what's so pleasing is that I think, we listed 6 or 7 years ago and our market share was maybe 5%, and now it's 15%. So we've grown incredibly well just by winning market share, and that's really exciting for us, and it's something we're truly focused upon. But at the same time, the model's been very successful offshore. So much so now that I think 70% of our profit this year will probably come offshore. I think North America is now our largest market, and Europe's really catching up to Australia and New Zealand. So the good thing is it's great that we can be an Australian company that can take our model offshore and really make it work. And that's notwithstanding Australia is a true outperformer. We have a long way to go. We've got a plan to 2021, and I think we've got a long way to do that includes or involves a lot of growth. We're hitting that one first, and that's again just really, I guess, outperforming the market in winning and retaining business, and where we need to, where we don't have the scale, because in this market, being 15% of the markets, that's a reasonable size to optimise our growth. But in America, we're bigger than here, yet we're 1/3 of 1%. So we'll make a few acquisitions here and there in North America and Europe to get that right scale and shape that will put us in the best position to optimise growth. Again, it's great to bring an industry together and share minds and ideas for the benefit of the whole community, whether that's the buyer or the travel industry, and I think that's what CAPA does exceptionally well. It's a great forum to share those ideas.